Today we're going to talk about new ways to get the deal done for all you real estate agents out there.
We're actually bringing out some truths, peel back the layers of all this fluff.
Shining the light on this industry as a whole.
Maybe you should stay away from it.
Hi everybody, welcome to Real Estate Raw&Uncut. This is episode 142. I'm Byron Lazine. He is Tim Barre.
I thought you were going to say real estate radio
Real Estate Radio.
for a second.
I got my radio voice.
I think the radio for us goes over better because nobody can see our mugs.
I agree.
Right?
And I love the, it's a weird thing there. I said I love the microphones at the radio.
They just don't stay. People can't see this, but those things are continuously doing one of these. So you got to prop those things up.
They are. The studio we have our radio show in is not as even sophisticated as our little mini studio here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe a step up, but the boom mic, Michael from colonyvideo.com doesn't think the voice. He says, "Is Brittany slowing down your voice 10%? You sound like you got a deeper voice." I think it's just I've been sick for 2 months. So I think that's what it is.
Late with puberty.
Yeah, something's going on there. So what do we got today? If you go back, I've done it before on Twitter, and you search twitter.search, you can find a whole bunch of real estate articles. If you go just on consulting and really start digging through, there's articles as far back as 2010. You found one from
93.
93
Talking about it.
about real estate consulting.
Yeah.
And one of the articles I particularly saw was that it was going to be almost taking over the industry in terms of how we normally do transactions. I get a buyer, I send them to a buyer, right to rep. I am their agent, or I get a listing, sign a listing agreement. I am your exclusive agent selling your property. There's a lot of people that believe that consulting could start to dilute some of the traditional ways we've done deals.
Yeah, it's not that top of mind for me until my phone starts to ring and the consumer starts to ask me about it. Perfect example is, you may have a seller who you're thinking of working with, and that person, it's on their mind to get the property ready to sell. But in their everyday life, they're out talking to their friends, their family, and everybody else, and they're saying, "Hey, we're thinking about putting our property on," and they can match that buyer.
Right.
So in that situation, they're saying, "Okay, well, maybe I don't need a real estate agent to help me with this transaction. Can I just utilize the attorneys?"
Yeah. Well, I think what you said there too was when the consumer starts calling you consistently on it. Now, if that's a trend that explodes where the consumer's demanding it, we've talked about this a number of times in the show.
Yeah.
The consumer's demanding something, that's
You have to react.
called an opportunity.
That's right.
For us as real estate professionals to give them what they want. That being said, where could this go wrong?
Well, it could go. There are a lot of places it could go wrong because as an agent, our value a lot of the time is doing what we do best, which is consulting and strategizing, and making sure that your client, when you do represent just one side, has the benefit of your transactions that you've done, your knowledge, and making sure that their deal goes smoothly. The issue that I'm having here is when you are, let's say it's a facilitator in that situation.
Sure.
So maybe you're just representing, maybe you are looking out for both sides and you don't have an interest with either. But you don't owe that person care, obedience, accounting, loyalty, and disclosure anymore. It's just confidentiality.
Right.
That's it. So what are you doing? You're giving them the paperwork and assuming that they know how to set this up so that it's not only is it best for them, but it will also help get the deal done in the end. Because you may set a deal up that's so one-sided that the transaction never gets done. And that's what I'm seeing in my conversations.
And when you use the word consultant, like especially today in 2017, if you go on, we mentioned Twitter before, or Instagram especially, you're going to see a whole bunch of 20-year-old consultants, social media consultant, and
but they have no experience.
That's the problem. That's it. Experience. If I'm hiring a consultant, you better be well versed in whatever I'm looking to be consulted on, you better have a ton of experience to back it up. There's so many social media consultants, you peel back the layers.
They've never done it.
And they've never built a social media following.
That's right.
Because they're 20 years old. They haven't grinded out the people that are really what I would consider social media consultants or experts out there have grinded it out the last 10 years. Not 2 years, not where they had some stupid cat video that went viral and all of a sudden they're social media
You have Brittany
consultant.
laughing over there.
You know, it's the people that have put in the work. And it's going to be the same thing when we circle back here to real estate. But what I think you get two types of calls. You get people that are really, I need a consultant. I have a project. I have a deal that I really need help on. And then you get people that are just trying to cut corners,
right, and make a buck.
And from the consumer perspective, save money.
Sure.
Right? So what's the reason why they won't call a commercial real estate attorney or a residential real estate attorney? Right? I think when people hear attorney, they hear costs a lot of money. When people hear real estate agent, they hear free.
Correct, because that's historically been the way that it is. Now, shifting gears, the reason why a consultant can work extremely well in the real estate industry, in my belief, is that a lot of times, and I'm not going to put a percentage on this, when you hire somebody in the real estate business, especially on the list side, you may not necessarily know what you're getting as far as the truth.
Right.
Because the business has been set up in such a way that the only person that benefits from the deal is the person that actually gets the listing.
Right.
So if you're extremely honest and you give them maybe exactly what you think, they're always listening to who can get them the most money.
Right.
And so they've got to go through that process. And what's going to happen if that listing agent that gets it and lists it up here, they still have a shot of getting buyers, they still have a shot, they have signage, they have all these things that can still generate them revenue. Whereas with a consultant, they know has no fiduciary interest other than to achieve the objective that's at hand, which is maybe place a value on their property.
Right.
The great thing with the consultant side is if they list with you, you can potentially refund the fees.
Yeah.
Right?
Here's what if the consumer starts to really demand, I'd rather have a consultant, a facilitator, as opposed to a traditional agent in my transaction. What I fear is that everybody with a real estate license now is just going to change the bio and real estate consultant, like you're seeing with social media out there, right? Everybody's this consultant or speaker or whatever, without having put in the work, without having the experience, without having the credibility. That's my fear in that. I think that it's going to be the same thing from a consumer's perspective. If everybody's a consultant out there, just like everybody's knows the game in listings right now,
right.
Supposedly everybody out there is a great listing agent. Well, right now it's very easy for the consumer.
Look at the track record.
Look at the track record. Go on Zillow. How many homes have you sold in the last 12 months? How many homes have you sold in your career? I was just on a listing.
Do some due diligence.
I was just on a listing appointment, and when it was the first round, they were a couple weeks away. I came back for a second appointment, and at that time we were going to go through marketing. Well, the seller said to me, he said, "Listen, I actually did some homework on you." He goes, "I don't need to hear your marketing pitch anymore."
Because they've seen it.
He goes, "I went on Zillow. I talked to a couple people here in the community. It's over."
Go to Seaport Real Estate Group's Facebook page.
Yeah.
And my hat goes off to Brittany. Because if you look at it and you look at what we're doing, it's just people wonder how we can do the things that we do.
Right.
It's not necessarily us. It may be the ideas that came, but we have the people implementing it, and that's what they do.
That's right.
So going back into the consulting side, if you dice it up, do you believe that, because you know what you're good at, right? I mean, your networking skills, your ability to talk to people, your insight into the industry is amazing.
Right.
But if you get bogged down with the little tiny things in life, and it just completely derails you.
Yeah.
And I'm dealing with that, in this industry. Because I'm trying to do everything for my client that I possibly can, and finding out that maybe it's not doing that addendum.
Right.
Maybe it's not being great at what Brittany does.
And I think finding the companies that have all those pieces in place. So if I'm coming and maybe I am an attorney selling my own home and I understand the legalities, but I don't understand really how to market and how to sell. Well, that's where I need
Maybe you find something that's great at that.
Right. Find something that's great at that, and that's where I need the advice. Or maybe it's I just really can't pin down the valuation, but my wife works for a marketing company and I'm an attorney. We're going to take care of the rest, but we're looking to get the real value.
Intrinsically, these people don't. You're just going out there taking some photos and you're putting it on the MLS. BS. Because and then you look at what if you price it wrong and you don't have the right marketing strategy and you have a mortgage of X and it's $25,000 a year in taxes. Every month that you have that property on the market, what is really the cost of you owning that home?
Absolutely.
So if you get rid of it in 2 months versus 12 months,
there's going to be
difference.
A cause and effect for everything you do, and there's so many different facets of this business. I mean, it's unbelievable, and you can't sit down and explain it to somebody in an hour, right? I was just meeting with a for sale by owner who was referred over to us, and I walked in and she said, well, I actually have somebody from the neighborhood coming I had my little for sale by owner sign in the front yard, and they're coming to see the property today. I said, great, I'm going to show you exactly what I do. So she's already shown the property a couple times to people, and what she does is she opens the door, lets them in, and then she says, here's my number, call me if you're interested. Immediately when that person walked in, I said, hey, nice to meet you. We're glad you're here. Let me ask you, what bank are you working with? Oh, I have a bank. It's right at I'm renting the house down here. I have a bank paper. We're going on the market at 150. Goes and gets the paper, approved for 115. Okay, well, was this for a specific property? Yes, this is for another property. Do you believe you're approved for 150? I do. Can you get an updated letter, right? What type of loan? Oh, this is FHA. You realize there's going to be a couple things that could hold you back. And she was just like, so the gentleman left. She was like,
proved your value immediately.
I didn't know any of those questions. Well, no kidding, because this is the first or second time you've done this in your life. And we're doing this every single day. And so we're going to be able to share that knowledge with you.
She's setting herself up for failure.
Right.
I mean, she could get the property under contract.
Absolutely.
But her chances of sale, successful sale, are slim.
And here's what, she has an attorney I respect him greatly, but here's where he went wrong. When she said, oh, can I have I need the process. So he just gave her old disclosure forms and just real estate form, that he had on the file, as opposed to educating her a little bit and being really there for her in terms of, hey, maybe you should look at some help through this process, get a consultant, get an agent.
How can you fill these forms out strategically so that you're protecting yourself when you get the offer?
Just scan and send.
Anyway, we could go forever on this one.
Absolutely. Drop us a comment. If you're an agent, do you believe consulting is going to be a big part of your business over the next 10 years? See ya.